Hello summoners, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're going to do top 20 characters for Act 6 in Marvel Contest of Champions. And like I was earlier making a top 10 list, but there are just so many good characters for Act 6, and if you have a few of them or a lot of them, then they would make Act 6 so much easier for you. It's really hard content. Like only thing harder is Abyss at this point, and if you have an Aegon, then maybe Abyss is cheaper than Act 6 Exploration. So like you need a lot of versatility in your roster in order to explore or even complete Act 6. There are a lot of fights which can potentially roadblock you, starting with the Crossbones in 6.1 to the Dark Hawk in 6.4, and like 6.2 Champion and 6.2 Mr. Sinister. So there are a lot of fights, and a lot of these characters are good against multiple, like a lot of these fights. And at number 1 we have Ghost. She can phase, so she completely avoids block damage for the most part. Sometimes you may have to block here and there, but in Act 6 the AI is super aggressive, and usually you will have no problems in using Ghosts. She is great for a lot of global nodes, like Backblast in 6.2. Like that is where you hit multiple critical attacks and you get a big incinerate on you, but you dash back and convert that into a big fury. You do some like crazy damage, the 30,000 mediums and stuff, every fight finishing in like 7 to 12 hits. So yeah, she's really crazy for a lot of stuff. She can handle a lot of annoying nodes there, a lot of fights. Even like Mr. Sinister, not the greatest matchup for Ghost, but she is one of the very few characters. I think she is the only character I've ever seen solo the Mr. Sinister in 6.2 without any synergies at all. So yeah, she's just extremely powerful. Then at number 2 we have Quake, who, for if you are ridiculously skilled with her, then she might be even better than Ghost. She is obviously really powerful. Again, another character who mostly just bypasses all the nodes, in like unless it has True Strike or a character who can counter evade or have natural power gain or something. So for like 98% of the content in Act 6, Quake is like a really good option. And if you can play her well, if you enjoy her play style, then she is incredibly powerful. And Ghost and Quake, like they are, this is the periodic table format, but it's pretty accurate that they are just one league above everyone else. Then we have Omega Red, and if you have him at a decent signature level, if you have him Awaken, obviously, if you have him like if you are running suicides with him, then I think he is number 3 in like best options for clearing Act 6. He can deal with the crossbones really well, the best option for the 6.1 crossbones, and he will like make being Cavalier so much easier for you. Even generally, like he just melts Act 6 characters so fast if you are running Suicide Masteries. I still don't have him, but he is like really valuable for it, and he can also have some level of sustainability from the regeneration from SP1, SP3. He regenerates from Suicide Masteries as well. If you're running like Willpower maxed and even Coagulate, I think he is poison immune, so really good options for a lot of these nodes, and really good counter for a lot of annoying fights like Thorns and Cogs and characters like that. Then we have Corvus, again another suicide friendly character. So if you have a 565 Corvus, you're going to have a really good time in 6.1 and 6.2. After 6.3 you may need to boost in order to finish the first fight with the first set of charges. Like you'll definitely have to boost if you want to finish the fight with the first set of charges. Like if you pop a cosmic boost, then you should be able to cycle 2 SP2s back to back, but that's only for one fight. Like after the first fight, even a 565 Corvus with one charge, he just dominates Axe, like Axe 6, even like 6.2, 6.3, 6.4 health pools. Like he is so good for path clearing and a lot of the bosses as well. He can do some insane damage from the SP2, and The armor break from on the parry is incredibly helpful. He regenerates from the bleed of the suicide masteries, and he just really good with all the boosts. If you have him as a 6 star, then I'm really jealous, because I think he's the strongest 6 star in the game. He's the best 6 star rank 3 in the game in my opinion, and like he will make Act 6 so much easier for you. Then at number 5 we have Doom. So like if you're not running suicides, Doom is really powerful with his power control. Like if you have Doom, you don't really need any other power control character in your team except maybe Magic, if the power gain, like if you don't want to bait any specials at all and stuff. But like Dr. Doom is just so powerful. Once you get to the first SP3, the fight is pretty much over. An Act 6 level health, like you go for medium, light, medium, SP1, SP2. Most fights are over at that point. Or if you build to another SP3, go for another medium, light, medium, SP1, SP2, then the fight will definitely be over, unless it's a boss or like Incinerate immune and you're having a really bad time RNG wise, like crit wise. But yeah, so Dr. Doom, he's just incredibly powerful. Then then next we have Nick Fury, really good for synergies. He like even without his synergies, just a lot of bleed damage if you're running 5 of 5 deep wounds. Even in his first phase, he can be unblockable. He can counter, evade. He can counter champions that go invisible. So he has a lot going on from for him. And against matchups where you can bleed, he is just really insane and will save you a lot of potions and revives in your path. Then we have Captain America Infinity War and Void. Like, they're both equally good in my opinion. Captain America Infinity War is slightly better just because of his block proficiency and perfect block chance. Like there is a lot he can do. If he is at SIG 200, there's a lot of utility with a lot of damage from the SP2, and even generally, like if you do parry heavies, and like you can have armor breaks with him. You can put like there's so much you can do, and it's reliable if you have him at SIG 200 or high signature level. So yeah, that is why he's there. Then we have Void, who if awakened at a decent signature level is really good for Act 6. He can reverse regeneration like Captain America Infinity War. Forgot to mention, like he will put petrifies on the opponent, really good for a lot of paths with the regeneration, like buffet, masochism, or any kind of like aggression regeneration, any kind of regeneration at all. And same goes for Void. He has a lot of damage over time, damage with his debuff, and after Fear of the Void he starts doing really good damage himself. He has really strong petrifies, can be really good for power control as well. Evade counters, some evade counter, a really high health pool, so that is why he's there. Then we have Black Widow Clairvoyant, decent damage, a lot of immunities, a lot of regeneration. Really solid option, especially if you're running Suicide Masteries. Like I use her so much for all these. Like in the past I usually just use her till the boss, and she has not disappointed me one bit in Act 6 exploration till now. Then we have Warlock, poison immune, bleed immune, lots of damage, armor break on the SP2. I recently did a guide on him if you want to check that out. The infections add additional utility with heal block, maybe reversing some power gain if they are healing. There's a lot. Also really good for countering annoying havocs. Have bleed on the heavy attack. So again, all of these characters, they can do a lot of things. That is why they are basically the best 20 characters in the game. And then we have Colossus. Again, a lot of immunities, a lot of damage if you can parry heavy. Some really powerful synergies with Emma Frost and Omega Red being in this really high on this list, so makes him even better. But even without them, he's really solid character with a lot of immunities and a crazy amount of damage. Then we have Hyperion, great poison immune character, lots of damage, bit RNG dependent on the Furies. The really good power gain, really strong SP2s, good chance to stun. You can just completely stun lock the opponent in certain situations. Then we have Thing, who with synergies is definitely a part of this list. The only reason I have him with synergies, if you have all his synergies as 5-star, that's the thing with Act 6. Because of the 4-star restriction, you need to have all of them as 5 stars, which is a bit annoying. Like, I'm still missing the champion as a 5-star, which is the most important synergy with the thing. But if you have all the synergies, then he's really good for Act 6 variant level thing. Like 1 SP2 and fight is over. You don't need to deal with any potions. He's just really cheap and good option for a lot of things. He's bleed immune to nullify, has its uses, and really a lot of health. He can, if you have him awakened, then that protection is really powerful and really useful in a lot of situations. Then we have Captain Marvel movie, who is also slightly reliant on the synergy with Nick Fury. A lot of damage once you build her up. That indestructible is also really powerful, and she is an amazing option for the Mr. Sinister 6.21, and that Mr. Sinister has probably roadblocked more people than any other fight in this entire game. So yeah. Then we have Human Torch, slightly for Act 6. Like for Abyss, he's amazing, but for Act 6, I'd rate him lower than Void and Captain America Infinity War. Also forgot to mention that Void with Killmonger synergy, and Killmonger is a pretty good character himself, is really sustainable as because of his high health pool and the regeneration on every debuff. Then like Human Torch, he melts all the mystics. He's incredibly useful if you have him. I do, and like whenever I see multiple mystic characters on the path or a mystic boss, I take him, and he makes like quick work out of them. He has abilities like he can counter characters who would miss your attack, so that comes in useful here and there. Overall, a pretty good character for Act 6, not the best. Then we have Domino with the Red Hulk synergy, Massacre synergy. She is really good for it. Again, you have to have them as a 5-star. She can do some really good damage. A bit RNG dependent again on getting the crit bleeds, big crits on the SP2, but is a really good option for a lot of Act 6 and can save you a lot of items. Then we have Aegon, who if we are talking about top 20 characters in the entire game, not just particularly for Act 6, I would rate him a lot higher because of the things he can do in Labyrinth and Abyss. But in Act 6, he's not as good. The health pools are pretty big, so by the time you get to the boss, you have him built up, and he's a really good option for the final Grandmaster. He's really good for a lot of fights, and there are a lot of lanes like with Rage and stuff where you can build him up pretty easily. A lot of flanky opponents. He is good for Act 6. He's not the best for it, in my opinion at least. I still don't have him. I really wish I get him. He's one of the most desired characters for me right now. Then we have Archangel. If you can bleed and poison, he's amazing. As long as you can bleed and poison the opponent, basically really good for a lot of bosses, a lot of parts. Really good for life cycle node in particular. Life cycle, it's really annoying in my opinion. It's one of the hardest nodes in Act 6, and he just like completely ignores it for the most part. Then we have Sorcerer Supreme. The regeneration on block is incredibly powerful. In the current state of Act 6, block damage is a huge problem, especially in 6.3 and 6.4, and her regeneration on block is really powerful. On top of that, she has slow, she has armor breaks, and just a lot of stuff going for her. And if you have Mystic Dispersion, don't run Suicide, she's a really good option for Act 6 in my opinion. Still a newer character, we are yet to see her perform. Like, I haven't seen a lot of Act 6 gameplay. I have seen a lot of Labyrinth gameplay from KT1, but she does seem a really good option for Act 6 on papers. Then we have Guillotine 2099, double element character, power control, regeneration, a lot of damage. She doesn't crit. That's not really useful, that useful in Act 6, but I'm sure she is really good for some lanes there. And overall, like, she is really powerful character, and with the pre-fight abilities and stuff, she could be really good for Act 6. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching, have a nice day, subscribe to the channel for more content, and stay safe. Bye bye.